What is up, Schmoedown fans? Welcome back to A Certain Point of View here on the channel as we are here for our final rookie spotlight before Friday's movie trivia Schmoedown draft. And we are super excited. We have three Star Wars competitors, incoming rookie draftees, Star Wars competitors that we're going to be talking to tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. We always like talking Star Wars on the channel, and we get to talk some Star Wars incoming players that we're going to throw some hard-hitting questions at. As you can see, no Jill today. Jill is her day off is usually Wednesday, and we don't usually film on Wednesday, so she is not here today. But Molly is back. She wasn't here yesterday. How you doing, Molly? Everything good?
I'm good. I'm a little tired. I'm a little winded from singing a sea shanty on my last stream that I was recently on. But yes, I'm great.
What about you? And those, you got the new headphones on, huh?
I like how you said, like, I'm going to try to see, let's see how long, if anyone says anything, and then you say it immediately when we start. Yes, I literally put my AirPods in, and my thing goes boop, 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 boop. I'm like, great. We're starting off like that. So back to these monstrosities. They're ginormous.
I'll put mine on if it makes you feel better.
No, you be comfortable. And your hair is all like perfect, so don't mess with your hair.
Oh, it's very greasy, but thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and I do want to point out what Tim had just said. Yes, official. This was just announced, not too long ago. Jim Vejvoda will no longer be in the season 8 of the Schmoedown, at least the draft. So who knows what can happen throughout the year, but he will not be opting into the MTS draft. We'll probably talk about that a little bit later on in the week, but for now, we're going to be talking some Star Wars time. We got some competitors on. We have Ross Arsenault, we have Evan Bushkar, and we have James Baney, 3 incoming draftees who are looking to enter into this this crazy division known as Star Wars in the Schmoedown.
So they're all Star Wars.
They are all Star Wars.
Okay, I thought it was just James. Oh man, okay.
No, all 3 of them are incoming rookie for Star Wars.
Ooh, I gotta think of some new questions.
No dragons though, right? All normal.
No dragons.
No dragons.
No dragons in this one, but they might still have to answer the question.
That is very true. And we'll make sure to throw out Jill's scenario questions as well to get their thoughts on those. We were able to ask Molly's yesterday since she was on here, so we'll flip it a little bit and ask Jill's as well. Any expectations for or what you guys are looking for from these rookies to start off?
I mean, if they're trying to get into Star Wars, they unfortunately have to make quite an entrance because Star Wars is already so competitive.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't envy any of them.
I'm honestly hoping I start to not like people at this point because I haven't come across one, and I'm like, all right, well, we're at like number 25, 26 of the Star Wars people. There's only so many spots. I'm like, okay, let's bring out the bad people at this point. So I could be like, no, next. But,
well, okay. So with that said, let's go ahead and bring on the first competitor that Brian hopes he dislikes.
I didn't say that.
Arsenault.
I didn't say that.
What's up, Ross?
Hey guys.
Brian. I'm sorry.
You're in full asshole mode today.
You threw yourself out there, and I just took it and ran with it. So.
Don't worry, karma comes right back at you. Just be ready.
Ross, well, first of all, thank you so much for joining us and being a part of this, and welcome to not just POV, but the crazy thing that is the Schmoedown community now that you are officially on the draft board.
Yes, thanks so much for having me on. It's been a really weird but cool kind of time to see the way things have kind of unfolded, and Friday will be even weirder and hopefully even cooler.
Yeah, no, that's very true. So we know that you were one of the 4, I believe, that were recently announced just a couple days ago that were on the final draft list going into Friday. And so we want to make sure we give you as much time as possible to be in front of not just our fans, but the whole community in general. We can clip this out for you, and that way everybody can see it. So just to kind of start things off a little bit, can you give everyone in the chat and those who watch on replay a little bit of explanation of where you come from with the Schmoedown and Star Wars and how you kind of got involved in all this?
Yeah, sure. I was born on Hoth. It was a very cold day.
Nice.
No, I'm Canadian, and
Not
so
a lot of life forms there. Interesting.
well, the ones that are there either smell bad or eat the ones that do. But I've got some moose in the freezer. It's what life is as a Canadian. But no, I've grown up always loving Star Wars. I don't remember a time in my life having not seen the original trilogy. It was likely because my dad knew, oh, okay, well, he'll be 5 when the new ones come out. I think we really need to make sure that he sees those all. And so I really can't remember a time in which I haven't seen them. I've loved Empire since I was a little kid. A New Hope was my sick day movie. Star Wars has always been my absolute favorite. I painted broomsticks in the yard and fought with the neighbors. We would make tunnels and we lived on a corner lot. And so the snowplow would come by and make these giant mounds, and you could tunnel the way through it. It was just like Echo Base. It was amazing. And so things like that really just kind of controlled the creativity of my childhood. And as I noticed and just got into the podcast world, and certainly when The Force Awakens, when Disney purchased Star Wars and The Force Awakens was coming out, and all the podcasts kind of resurged, and I found Christian through there, whether it's Far, Far Away, and then Jedi Council. And of course, he talks so much about the Schmoedown. And then I saw the Sam Witwer match, and that was incredible. And then so I had to go and I had to see every match there was. And I've kept up with that ever since, and got really into the rest of the entire league last year. The way the factions kind of divided things up, it made it easy to follow. And then the storylines hook you when maybe you're not thinking they're going to hook you as much. And then you're really waiting for those specific things. I have to say also the promo you did with Adam Witt last year, Molly, was easily promo of the year. That was awesome. I love that one. That was great.
We kind of gave ourselves that award since they skipped over it at the
you
awards
deserved
this
it.
year. So yeah,
Well,
we'll take it. But thank you.
we already know that we like him, so damn it, there's one.
Very fair. Yeah, it's cool because we've obviously talked to a lot of rookies, and there's a couple of them that have like a vast knowledge or history with Schmoedown as far as watching it and number of seasons. A lot of them have gone back recently and kind of caught back up, or really just invested their time into it. And so it's really cool to meet someone who has pretty much been on the outside watching for so long, very much like how we have been. And it that's we wish you the best of luck going forward, obviously, because we want to see those more people like that in the league.
I appreciate that. I certainly hope it goes well in that regard. It's been something that I've been playing along, and this past year in particular, especially, of course, the Star Wars tournament, I really took that as like, okay, let me put myself in the shoes of everybody and see how well I can do. And it went really well. And so then when the opportunity came up, I forget when Christian first announced it, whether it's like early December or something. I don't remember exactly when, but when he put out those feelers, I knew I needed to do it. I had a pretty crazy December for work, and so I intended to do it over my Christmas break. And then they released a first draft list as well, and so I was like, oh damn it! Now everybody's getting their word out, and they're starting these conversations. But fortunately, the second batch came through, and I was on that one because I only got it in with I got it in with some time left, but in that last week.
Hey, as long as you got it in, so that works. That works.
Oh, absolutely. And I was glad to be able to stand out in those last few.
Really?
You're the one that said it, not me.
All right, I'll go ahead and shoot the first one to Molly if she wants to start us off here with the question for Ross.
Sure. This hasn't been one that I've been asking, but I'm curious. First of all, I love the background. I'm like just picking apart everything back there and looking at it.
The Boba Fett helmet is like just amazing.
Molly, that's kind of like how I've been judging my people. Like, do you have a good background? Because
right here is where my sideshow Grogu will go when he arrives. He's in it's a long tracking process that they give you. Yeah. So that's a TBD one. But I've been filling it up over the last little bit. My childhood dream was always the AT-AT, so I went with the ATM-6, but it was that was a fun one to build this last year.
Nice. Do you like do any podcast or like any Star Wars related stuff as a job or like as a hobby?
No, I don't do it as a job, but as a hobby. So my brother's in radio, and so he's got a couple podcasts, and I love Star Wars, and so it was just something that we kind of did as a bonding experience because our family was sick of us just talking about Star Wars when we had get-togethers, and we'll do like a regular dinner, and so it really was starting to annoy them. And he suggested we do that, and so we've had a podcast. We have 105 episodes, so it's about 130 probably-ish hours of content in there, and we picked apart the all the movies and the Mandalorian and a few other things, and kind of breaking down our top 6 and 6 of our favorites across the board. It's called Recorder 66, and so that's why we just break things down in good old Palpatine's order of faction there.
Nice. I love the name Recorder 66. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
I love that. And then I guess one of my other questions that I've been asking the Star Wars competitors is, unless you don't want to give away any of your strengths, is there a particular wheel on the Star Wars slice, meaning a movie, I guess, or you could say quotes, heroes and villains, mixed bag. Is there a particular slice on the wheel that you think you'd be really bomb at?
Oh, man.
That's a tough one because you don't want to give anything away.
But at the same time, if you're trying to get into Star Wars, you have to be good at all of it.
Yeah,
you can't have
absolutely.
a weakness.
There is no weakness, and so really the only thing I would say is it really doesn't align for me. And when it comes to my personal preference or favorite movie, and the ones that necessarily is my best category, because it's pretty obvious the more you watch it, A New Hope and Empire have the deepest cuts. It's not even close. And so I may have an absurd amount of practice questions for A New Hope. I may have seen A New Hope the most number of times. Empire may still be my favorite. So the odds are I'm going to know most of them, but there's a decent chance there's going to be a Bob Anderson in there. And those are the kind of things that you can never really be aware of. And so, like you said, you have to be prepared for all of them. I think I would, I think I would do well regardless of the era.
That's the correct answer.
And I'm also eager for them to add Mando, Clone Wars, and Rebels next year too.
Yeah, that would be interesting, especially Clone Wars, because you can't just plan out, okay, a couple of weeks, I'll do a rewatch of the movies. Clone Wars, that's going to take some time.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely. It'll blow everything wide open. It'll make it certainly more difficult, but it's a challenge that I'm certainly up for. And so it would get my vote if I'm fortunate enough to make it into the Star Wars division next year.
Great.
God, Clone Wars would be a night.
That would just be the disaster. it would literally be the great disaster of the show.
You were waiting to use that. Yeah, nice.
It just came to me. Things just come to me sometimes. So, okay, I have 2 comments. I want to throw this one comment up because this one's just funny to me. Can anyone tell this noob what this is? I jumped over from Star Wars Explained live stream. That Schmoedown that Alex and Molly talk about constantly on their channel. This is what we're talking about here. Is the Schmoedown. Obviously, Molly is a competitor. Ross is an incoming rookie who's looking to be drafted, and we're just talking Schmoedown. So thank you so much for joining.
Oh boy. There's Alex playing the current Star Wars champion is in the other room yelling, playing Resident Evil 8.
I literally was because of these headphones. I was like, "Is that me or is that not me?" I can't.
That's got to be trippy for the guy that just sent that because he just came over from.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Alex is being scared by scary things currently.
Star Wars is nowhere on his mind right now.
All right, and then we have one Streamlabs that has come in from Kylie with her typical question as of late anyway, and she had asked, so we have actual real dragons, a Godzilla, and Scrimshaw, who is a freaking Jedi. So what fictional creature will you be to be different in this crazy load division?
Oh, what creature from the galaxy far, far away?
So the Dragon Con players, they've been
dragons, of course.
So,
and so Sean has been deemed.
Wampa was way too easy to kill.
True.
I mean, if you have a lightsaber, sure, but otherwise might be a little hard. I'm
shifty. And even if the odds look like they're stacked up against me, I think I can find my way out of there. And so I'm going to go with Boga the Varactyl. I'm gonna save the greatest Jedi of all. I'll throw Joseph Scrimshaw on my back, and we will get our way out of there.
Nice.
Great answer.
I love Boga's like sound effect for its little noises that it makes. It's like rah, rah.
Oh, it's
so
shrieking. I love it.
Yeah.
Jake, do you know who that is?
Good answer.
Brian, I know who that is. Yeah. All right, Brian, what do you got for Ross?
So obviously you're aware of how the Schmoedown works, so this works even easier. Is there a manager, and you don't have to say a name if you don't feel like it, that you feel like you would be very well geared towards? And if you don't want to say a name, what type of things would you look for in a manager if given the opportunity to play?
For sure. I think there's a couple managers that would maybe suit my style a little bit better than others. I certainly do want an opportunity to practice with my team, to work with my team. I'd like to be able to do some war rooms. I'd like to be able to, I've been a tutor for many, many years. I'm not a tutor anymore, but I absolutely love math, and people don't like math. And so it can be fun to also kind of creatively work with people on ways to figure out different memory techniques. I took a memory course in university, and it's interesting when you can figure out these different study tactics for yourself and for other people. And I want to be able to do that. And also it's a phenomenal community to be able to share ideas with people. And so I'd like to be able to kind of have that camaraderie within my team. So I think that any kind of manager who's able to just build a strong team environment is a good thing, and somebody who is able to be a supportive counterpart during the match as well.
Interesting. I feel like the idea of you knowing some like memorization techniques kind of perked a lot of managers' ears up just then, or will.
I hope so.
When they hear this. Interesting.
Yeah, I have my master's in technology, entrepreneurship, and innovation. I've been a nerd since I was a little kid, and I always liked competition, especially when it came to like math games. I was a math Olympian, and so I know competitive nerdiness. Let me put it that way. I don't necessarily.
You're making my head hurt just by saying the word math.
I know. I'm sitting here going, I'm a 7th grade teacher, and when my students ask me questions, I'm like, I don't know.
Where's your calculator?
Google it.
They always said you never have your calculator wherever you go when you grow up.
Yeah,
but that's
now,
exactly what we do.
Now we have them. Yeah, now we have them. I do have to ask though, because obviously the Schmoedown has evolved over the last 2 years or so in study tactics and the way that players approach the game. And it sounds like you can bring, outside of just Star Wars, it sounds like you can bring something to all players in all divisions that a manager would really enjoy to have on their team that could help that one person or a few get over the hump of getting a couple points for their faction. And it seems like something a manager could really utilize through the entire year.
I'd like to think so. I think I can be valuable outside of Star Wars, even if I'm not the one who's necessarily playing. I mean, maybe over time I could be a valuable B player on a team because I know a lot more when I play along with teams and singles than I should, just because I'm a bit of a sponge with information and I do listen to a lot of podcasts. But it's something that it's been an interesting thing that I really want to dive back into, is to kind of working with other people on different study tactics and techniques. And I think with IG, you have a set number of films that you can work from. I've been also working on some different study tactics for myself as well. Certain things that I'm noticing, like, okay, I can't get this, and I consistently can't get this to stick in my mind. And then there's some other thing, and I noticed just recently the other day, something I could not get to stick in my mind. I got it in 5 minutes, and it's not left my mind since. And I had been just kind of passively studying it a different way for a little while and just was never sticking. And so those things are always really nice to find those nuggets. And then you can kind of extrapolate, okay, what kind of question was that? Why couldn't I study it that way? And then you can kind of figure out different kind of questions that you want to put into a different kind of study format so that you're going to study the right ones the right way.
Wow.
The three of us are just like, all right.
Wow. We like movies.
Where were you sitting next to me in college? God.
It was usually an ideal seat.
Yeah. Up in the front where I was nowhere to be found, probably.
All right, so I'll go ahead and ask one of Jill's scenario questions. That way, she's kind of here in spirit. So, let's say you're playing, just someone who either has one match or even an incoming rookie, and you finish up the first round and you end up with a lead, a couple points, and you have a decision to either spin first or defer on the wheel. What would you go with and why?
I have a lead.
You have a lead.
So I'm deferring, yeah, because I'm picking the wheel. I'm definitely deferring because information's king. You have more information when you know what your other opponent's score is. Look at, it's not the same thing because it's not the wheel round, but look at what happened at Spectacular. Had Alex had a very clear look at the board, he doesn't need to answer how many films Han Solo's in. He wins the game. It's already over there. It's because he has more information because he went second. And so you always can keep that sort of thought process in mind in entering round two is if I'm this many behind, or if I'm this many ahead, then you'll go into the next round knowing, okay, well, maybe they had an atrocious round and you're already still ahead. Now just play your 1-pointers on the ones that you really don't need to risk on. It's you can really save your ass. And some people play wild in round two when they don't need to.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I feel like you get along really great with Ben Bateman. I feel like you guys
like
have
Ben.
the same mindset when it comes to playing the game, which is a good thing.
I like to think so. He does some goal setting on his stream, and so I kind of did a call out and said, I'm gonna call my shot with Star Wars. That if I can make it, I can guarantee I can hang.
Nice.
I like it because we also had another rookie on the show, Felix Morit, who brought a very similar style of like approach. Schmoedown, yeah. And and it's a little different the way he approaches it in far as like calculations and it's more so on theory and what he expects to happen. But it's just so fun to see these rookies come in with you and Felix and even others are finding a way. A small corner inside this world that can really make managers think, oh wow, nobody else is doing that, and it's really interesting to hear from our side. You break it down, everything like that.
Thanks. I played a lot of fantasy hockey, and no one would play with me anymore. I like when you can break down statistics and figure out kind of different strategies and use numbers to your advantage. But then when it comes to something like Star Wars, it is less of a strategic part of Schmoedown compared to the other parts of the game because the misses are so much more important. And so therefore getting your actual possible points earned is easily the most valuable in the Star Wars division. So at the end of the day, you just need to really know your stuff.
Yeah. To quote the great Joseph Scrimshaw, it's basically who brain farts first. And I have very good experience with brain farts.
You'll redeem yourself with that one. It'll come.
Maybe one day.
We all have brain farts.
It always happens.
Yeah. All right, Molly, Brian, do you guys have anything else you want to ask Ross before we move on to our POV question?
I won't ask you to cut a promo because I'm not Jill.
We're not hazers like she is.
But I will ask, as far as the character work of the Schmoedown goes, I feel like you've probably gotten a good sense of that thus far. What do you think about that side of it? Like, are you a wrestling fan? Do you think you could cut a good promo, get a good character arc going?
Yeah, I'm not a wrestling fan at all, but I am very much a fan of storytelling, and I'm very much a fan of adding a little theatrical essence to said storytelling. I've done a lot of presentations for my job, presented in front of a lot of people, and I like to do it with a bit of sass, and so I don't really have so much of a worry in that regard. And I'm actually really quite excited to kind of adopt or develop a character, whether it's out of something that is evident in my personality or maybe a little bit more hidden in my personality, but to really kind of bring that out and just to have fun with it. I'm having a lot of fun, just the studying aspect of things, but it's also fun to ham it up a little bit. And I had an absolute blast making my audition and my promos. And it was, I learned a couple technical skills. I didn't know how to video edit, but I learned how to make a force hollow. And so I sent a hollow message, it's threatening your husband, unfortunately. But
it's okay. He gets threats every day.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, you can't go into the Star Wars division and say, I want to be not as good as Alex, but good. I mean, no, you have to be able to go in and you have to show that you want to earn your way, but earn your way to the top and to one day face the champion. And so I had a lot of fun doing that. And I think it also shows that I can put a lot of effort and learn some things in a pretty short amount of time to be able to put those to good use as well. So,
yeah. It sounds like you have a leg up on a lot of aspects of the Schmoedown. I hope so. I mean, speaking for myself, like I have never been a person to feel comfortable in front of a lot of people, but I mean, like I've kind of gotten there more and more as I do more live streams and stuff like that and stuff on the channel. So it sounds like you're good on that. The memorization stuff I'm very impressed with, and I want to pick your brains. So if you get drafted, I hope you are drafted on my team.
Be happy to help. I'm happy to share it with anybody on the faction. I even think it's even better thing is the fact that the factions are becoming a little bit more established. So there's a higher likelihood of more returning players. And so I think you're going to get a little bit more interfaction sharing this year. And I think that that's only a positive thing. And so maybe next year the factions are retaining 5 or 6 players and the draft is only the rookies. And so who knows how these things are going to shake up over time.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, quickly here, we'll finish with our POV question. We're all movie fans. Brings us together here on the channel and in the community. So what do you have for a favorite movie snack and a favorite candy?
Favorite movie snack would have to be Tostitos. Whether that's with salsa or like sweet chili flavored, love some sweet chili flavored, or just general like a salsa spicy flavored. I know we have a lot of different chips in Canada as well. So that like we have do you guys have ketchup chips? And has it found its way into the US finally?
Slowly.
Good.
Within the past couple of years. Yeah.
That's nice to see. And for candy, I love sour candy, but I don't eat a bunch of sour candy. I do eat a lot of dark chocolate though. I eat like bags of dark chocolate chips. So let's go with that one.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Ross, thank you so much for hanging out with us. And we're glad to give you a little bit of spotlight here before the draft on Friday. I know you've had, quite the week being such a short time period for you, but we look forward to Friday for you and good luck with everything, man.
Thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it and enjoy the draft as well, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good one, Ross.
Good luck.
Cheers.
All right. Just continuing that trend.
Yeah. I don't know how people are going to pick.
It's not fair. It's just not fair. All right, let's go ahead and get to our next guest here. He has been waiting along, and so we'll bring him right on. Another incoming Star Wars draftee. Made his stamp late with an audition tape, and he's been all over the Facebook page as of late. And that is Gold Leader himself, Evan Bushkar. What's up, man?
Hello. How's everyone doing?
Good. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I know I don't sell easy, but thank you.
You're fine. No, we're happy to have you. We're happy to give you a little bit of a shot because we know that the rookie space in general being included is hard enough to get your name out there, but being included less than a week ago is a big thing too. So we want to
social media following, nothing. Just total blank slate. So
exactly. So for those in the chat and those who watch on replay who may not know who you are, your history with Schmoedown and Star Wars and kind of how you got connected to all this, do you mind breaking it down for him a little bit?
Sure. So basically, I've been watching the Schmoedown for a long time, mostly the Star Wars matches. I believe what happened, if memory serves, I sometimes I misremember, but I believe I was just looking up things on YouTube, looking up Star Wars trivia on YouTube, and I found the Star Wars Schmoedown. This is back in 2017 or so, and I've been familiar with like Collider and Schmoedown and stuff for a long time, but I didn't realize that was something that they did. So I started following along with these matches and really found myself getting a lot of these answers right, and I was like, man, could I beat Sam Witwer one day at something? And then so I've just been watching these matches for years ever since then. Lifelong Star Wars fan, as I'm sure most of these people are that are Star Wars incoming rookies and stuff. But yeah, I want to get some questions right, and I want to rub my knowledge in the faces of my underlings.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Oh, goodness.
All right, Brian, I'll shoot it to you first, man, if you want to start us off.
Yeah. So I've been just asking people what you don't have to actually flat out say the name if you don't want to, but is there any managers that you kind of particularly feel like, you know what, I'd be a really good fit for them? And if you don't want to say a name, just say some qualities or things you're looking for if given the opportunity to be on a certain manager's team.
Part of me is like, I will take anything.
Yeah.
I will take any chance. But also, there are a couple. I won't name names just because maybe the person, if somebody gets me, the person who would get me is not this person. I don't want them to feel bad. I don't want anyone to. I'm not that mean in real life. It's just in the promos. But there are a couple that I've talked to that I would like to work with, and all I'll say, I want my inner heel to be brought out.
Oh,
because there is some kind of
that narrows the field, obviously.
Uh-huh.
There is a deep. I think it was Ben Bateman. I think he did say like, for someone to be a good heel, I think they have to have like, whether it's subconscious or like very overt, there has to be some kind of like arrogance there, and that's like what I hate that about myself. I hate that I think really highly of like my intelligence when it comes to Star Wars and stuff, but this is an opportunity to where I can lean into that, and so I can be like, oh, I'm better than all of you, but obviously not that mean about it. But I want to be the weapon. I want to be an angry. I want to be anger served with a smile. That's what I want to be.
I like that.
Yeah, that's me.
Also, the weapon is like a really good nickname too. Just
Nice.
It is.
You're trying to take gold leader from me, Molly? Is that what's happening? No. I agree though. That's good.
Yeah, we don't see too many people coming in talking about how they want to be heels, but I love to hear that because everybody loves a good heel.
I want anger to come out. I want there to be some. I want it to be mixed in with even some like real emotion. I want people to actually hate me or something. So that if I could work that out, I would be totally down for that.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's
I have a very interesting Streamlabs that has just come in. This comes from Kylie.
Okay.
I got to ask this, and she had put it in the chat. I asked the me and Joe question, which I thought was going to be a promo. But that is not what this question is.
Mm-hmm.
And so she had asked, I'll do the Jill question. So if you shave/wax your full head, beard, and eyebrows and eyelashes, which I don't know how that's possible, you get a title shot against Alex Damon. Do you make that sacrifice?
Yes. 100%. I will take any chance. My image is worthless to the wind. Worthless.
All right, you hear that, managers?
Yes.
He'll do anything.
Please. It's like when the principal in your middle school would be like, "Hey, if you guys sell this many candy bars, we'll shave Principal Johnson's head at the assembly." I'll be that principal for you guys. I'll do it.
Did you do the flirt and flouse, the one little curl?
Yeah, we'll leave the little curl. That's all we need.
Kylie, thank you for that. That should have been asked a long time ago. We should have just kept that up on all of our rookies, all over our
That's
rookies.
funny. That was a good one.
There's no
That was
question.
very good.
All right, Molly, you're up next. What do you got?
So yeah, I've been asking most of the rookies about wheel slices, but I mean, for Star Wars in particular, you kind of have to be good at all of it, like we said before. But is there a particular movie that is your favorite? And if it's different, is there one that you think that you just are exceptionally good trivia-wise at?
I will say A New Hope. It is my ride or die Star Wars movie. That's my favorite one. I think
there's so many trivia things that I want to ask you right now to test you, but I'm not going to do it.
No, it's okay. If you feel the need, I have no problem if you wanted to ask me if I crash and burn. I will have done it in glorious fashion. So,
I won't. I won't do that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Molly. Please. So, no. So I would say A New Hope. I'll also probably like Revenge of the Sith. I'm really strong on.
There's a lot in that movie.
That twofer, that 3 to 4 is like that's all the Star Wars I need. I like all the Star Wars movies, but that's the chunk that I love the most. So yeah, those two.
Nice. There's great trivia in both of those.
Oh yes,
totally.
All right, I'll go ahead and shift to one of Jill's promo, or not promo. I'm not going to do the promo. Don't worry, I'm not going to do the promo. Scenario questions. Okay, so say that you're in a title shot for the Star Wars division, and we get to the betting round, and you have a 1-point lead on your competitor, but you spin a slice on the wheel that is, so it's kind of middle ground for both of you. You're good at it, but if there's a hard question, it could be a little difficult. Same for your competitor. How many points do you bet and why?
So I'm gonna sound like a total idiot. How does this betting work?
So it's zero.
That's fair because
yeah.
this only happens in the 5-rounders.
So okay, I've watched every Star Wars match like multiple times, but it's been a while since I watched the 5-rounders.
It's just the title matches, so it's 0 to 3 points. And you can bet 0, you can bet 3. If you miss it, you lose the points you bet. If you get it correct, you get the points you bet. Same for your competitor. So if there's a slice that is so for both of you,
sure,
but you have a lead, how many points do you bet?
Oh,
so
you lose the points.
Yeah, if you miss it.
Oh my goodness.
But you will know what movie
you'll
question
know,
is
right,
movie from.
The question, yeah.
Okay, if it's like a so movie, we'll say like. I only say so for the Phantom Menace because I'm weak on the pod racers right now at this point in my life. I'm getting there. Dud Bolt. I love Dud Bolt. But so if I say I land on Phantom Menace, I would probably bet 2. There's a deep part of me that would want to bet 3. I have a trivia team in Virginia, and every single time on the last question, we would risk it all, and we'd either crash and burn or we would win. So part of me wants to carry that philosophy, but I'd probably go safe and bet 2 because that's like a solid increase, but not as devastating a loss as 3. So I would do 2.
And that's for the most part, from what we've seen, that's usually what people do.
Sure.
2 is about 95% of the time. 2 is the number that comes out of that betting round for both sides.
Totally.
And I will say that like I feel like there's been so many deep cuts in past matches from episode 1 that if we are talking episode 1, that's a fair bet because they could pull something really, really crazy from that.
There was
movie,
oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
I was just saying there was a Bulls Roar question I heard today from ages past that I stumped on. I'm sorry, continue.
No. The pod racers, that's one of the things that I really enjoy studying for some reason because it's so silly. Like all the names, where they're from, what their vehicles are, I say that and watch me get a fairly easy pod racer question and miss it.
Hey, lady, you've been saying harder questions for Phantom Menace all last year, so
It's true. I demand harder questions all around.
Yes.
5-pointers all around.
Totally agree.
All right, Brian, I'll shoot it to you if you have another one you want to ask him.
Sure. So, obviously, Star Wars is what you're going into. Is there a certain player, and it doesn't have to be a Star Wars competitor, that you feel that you would like to learn from or kind of share? I don't know what you want to say, notes or any type of like you're like, oh, I think it would be really cool to learn from that player. It doesn't have to be Star Wars either.
Sure. I'm not just saying this to kiss ass, I promise. Molly is one of them. And then I would say Ace as well. Well, actually, no, there's 3. That Laura as well, Laura Kelly. You know what? Every single person in this show. Yeah, I would. Those 3 are strong, confident players. That's like when you have like the list of people. It's like if choose 3 and the rest will try to kill you, those are the 3 I've chosen.
I love it. I love it.
That's awesome. Great answer.
I feel honored, but at the same time, that's a good choice because this one's been training the champ for years.
Nice. Good. It's like how the only person who could kill Thrawn was the person closest.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Exactly.
Okay, I have a question kind of building off of that a little bit. If we know that you've been doing some rewatches, is there a Star Wars player or even a rookie that you may know about?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll keep the 3 that you just mentioned, I'll keep them out of it as well.
Okay.
Is there someone that you would love to play in your first match?
Yes. It's a rookie. I love this rookie. I love this man. And Molly, you're familiar with this person as well. I guess all of you are probably familiar. You've been interviewing people all week, but he's from the area. Zach Burkett. I want blood with this man. I want to catch heat. I want to throw hands with him, physically and in trivia. We'll see who comes out of that. But I would love. We did like a little mock match in one of the little interview type things that we did, and it was a total blast. So I would love to contend with him. He is excellent, but also he's an immortal enemy.
Yeah, I'll say it. I'm terrified of Zach Burkett.
Oh yes. He's a hero. Like he's definitely not. He's a face, but there's like this heel energy to him where I'm totally threatened by him, but I want to beat him. It's all mixed together. I love him.
I completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. All right, guys. Well, do you have any other questions for Mr. Evan before we move on to our POV one?
No, you answered some great questions.
Yeah, there was some good stuff in there.
There
was some good stuff in there. All right, we'll shift gears to our movie question here on POV.
Okay.
Because we're all movie people, and we love talking movies in general, not just Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have a favorite movie snack and a favorite candy, right?
Yes. Snack. See, okay. I didn't anticipate that because I was listening to was it Ross? Is that his name?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to. I'm not trying to be like actual like.
You're good.
I'm just curious. So I didn't think about the difference between snack and candy. Like I would just say the go-to is the Sour Patch Kid. And that's just me personally. I think that's the go-to. That's the strong pick. I also really like popcorn as well. I'm a human. So just I'm boring American person. I get popcorn, Coke, and Sour Patch Kids.
I mean, almost everyone we've asked, I feel like rookies has at least said popcorn.
Yeah.
Like the minority would be the ones that don't say popcorn at this point.
Who decided that? Who was like, hey, this thing is what we eat with movies? Why was it not like tortilla chips?
Well, it's super cheap to make and produce a lot of, and then movie theaters can sell it at an insane price.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Very true.
They have fields of this stuff. You should see it sometime. No.
Collectible buckets and all that.
Yeah. Oh no, I buy every single one too. I am like.
So does he.
I'm the biggest like shill for anything. I'm just like, oh, this thing has Gin Urso on it.
Yeah.
Honey, get my wallet, please.
That's
we
awesome.
love a good Star Wars shill here.
Oh, of course.
Well, Evan, it's been a pleasure getting to talk to you a little bit, man. I know it's very short notice for a lot of people who may be watching in the community in general, but we hope that this gives you a little bit of an edge going into Friday, and we'll make sure to put it on the channel individually as well. That way you can share it if you want to. We'll put it up on our Twitter as well. But good luck on everything. You answered some tough questions there. It was a lot of fun talking with you, and we can't wait to see what happens on Friday, man.
Well, thank you guys so much. May the force be with me. But it was a pleasure to meet all three. Well,
Awesome.
I guess I've kind of, I don't know, I've kind of met Molly before. I met Alex and Molly one time at Celebration a long time ago, but you meet a lot of people. Anyway, it was great to see you.
And have a good one, and good luck on Friday.
Good
Thank
luck.
you guys so
Good
much.
luck.
Haven't found a bad one yet.
I know.
I mean, he said he wants to be a heel, so you can just use that as an excuse to say that's the one bad egg in the bunch.
That's true.
Yeah.
And by bad egg, I mean like he's probably gonna crush it as being a heel.
Yeah.
I'm literally looking at the list, and there's so far 29 Star Wars people. That's blows my mind and
Man,
excites at the same time.
me too. I really hope that we get to a point where there's at least two Star Wars worthy people on every faction.
That's gonna be this year.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance someone might take 3, just how the division is working up. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, let's shift gears to our next guest. He is someone who we're very excited to talk to here. He is finishing out our Resistance broadcast cover for here on POV, and he's looking to get drafted upcoming on Friday. And that is Mr. James Baney is joining us.
Hello, how's it going, guys?
Hello.
Good. Welcome to POV. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm a little different. I'm already thrown because I, for some reason, misplaced my AirPods, and I haven't worn like headphones in probably like 2 years. And I'm like,
Yes,
oh my
you can say
god,
the same thing.
If you were here
Yeah.
in the beginning, that's literally my AirPods. I
Oh.
put them in today, went boop boop boop. I'm like, the hell are these things? Yeah, I'm literally like any noise. I'm like, hello.
yeah. Even just now, I'm like sitting there, like this won't be that bad, and I'm like, oh, I hear myself. This is weird. Yeah.
It's yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so obviously we know that you're part of the Resistance podcast crew. You podcast Star Wars twice a week, Star Wars Newsnet, and you've been mentioned multiple times, not just on this channel, but you've been on a bunch of shows so far the last couple weeks. But for those who may not know you or the channel or anything, your connection to Schmoedown and everything, because I know that you, out of the three of you, have the longest history with Schmoedown as well. Can you explain a little bit about yourself and everything like that to the chat?
Yeah. So you were talking about Resistance Broadcast. It's a podcast that we do that initially obviously started just as the regular podcast thing. We were doing audio for a very long time. And I just thought, hey, let's eventually move into throwing it up on YouTube, just the audio with pictures and stuff. And then it just kind of rolled into eventually us doing video. And now I personally kind of think of us as a YouTube thing, but I think there's still like a massive audience. I think we get more listeners still that just do the audio. So, but yeah, we talk Star Wars twice a week. That's our regular schedule. Mondays, we cover all the news that happened last week. And then on Thursdays, we usually will do something more like a discussion about like, something maybe that's going on within the galaxy or whatever. But yeah, we'll do, I don't know, random stuff here and there. And like the Mando fan show, obviously when Mando's around, we'll do live events and we'll discuss the show and we bring on guests and, it's a good time. And we've been doing that for a long time. As far as the Schmoedown stuff, yeah, I've been a fan of like AMC movie talk and then eventually turned into this and eventually turned into that. And I've been with it for a very long time, paying attention. There was actually a point where they were like my number one thing. Like I never missed an episode ever of this stuff. So I saw Christian Harloff and I had no clue who he was, but I watched him all the way, until he started this whole thing with the Schmoedown. And I was like, dude, this is cool. I get this 100%. And then, right around the time that it started blowing up, our stuff was taking more of a presence too. So I did kind of step away from it, paying attention as much. And it was just kind of like one of those things, like when it's not the case, because I didn't know anybody personally, but like when you're friends with someone in college and you're like, oh man, you can like check their Facebook and be like, dude, they're doing crazy stuff. That's good for them, So it's really cool right now that we had this connection with Christian and he was like, hey, you guys should maybe put your name in to be part of this, because I think we're wanting to do more with Star Wars and stuff. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to participate, because in my back of my head, you know how it always is. It's like that weird fantasy where like maybe one day I'll be on that show. Yeah, but I mean, it's cool. I'd love to participate. It has always been something that I've looked up to as far as like something of value that they created that just kind of didn't exist before. And I admire that. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's really cool because I found AMC before Christian was ever involved as well. and
Sure.
and I followed them through the ranks too. So it feel very similar on the viewpoint on this. It's really cool.
Yeah, I remember like finding that show and being like, oh, this is cool. It's like a YouTube show that talks movies. And they brought on John Schnepp just because he was the only person they knew who knew anything about Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, and they were bringing him in like over like a Skype type thing.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't even on the show. They're like in a closet with the curtains up and stuff. And I'm like, this is cool. And like I said, it was like one of those things like you watch it turn into what it was, you know, and you're like, they have a studio and obviously all these people are watching the show every week. And I was like, man, this is crazy. Like, it's so cool to watch things happen.
It was very much like the early beginnings of what YouTube kind of is for movies now. Like Movie Talk was one of the very first things that really took off, and everyone's like, oh, that could really work. And now everyone's doing it now. And they're kind of, that was the very beginning of it.
No, it's absolutely crazy because I literally remember they were like, we're working on something where we can talk about movies that have already come out. And I remember thinking, that's impossible. You can't do that without spoiling a movie. And they did this thing and they're like, we're calling it like a spoiler review. And you would watch it after you went and saw the movie. Yeah. And I was like, that's such a crazy idea.
Now that's like half of YouTube.
I know. It's so common now that it's crazy to think that there was a time when that didn't exist.
Yeah. Yeah. And it wasn't even that long ago. It was like under 10 years ago, which is crazy because it feels like it's been around for so long. All right, Molly, I'll shoot it to you first. You got a question for James?
Yeah. First of all, hi, James.
Hello. How's it going?
Good. Can confirm their show is amazing. Everyone needs to check it out.
Yes. I listened to this episode, so
thank you.
And yes, the hashtag make solo 2 happen. Spread it around.
That's right. We're doing that.
Oh, Brian.
That was
there
me.
it is.
Yes.
There it is.
Molly, nice.
Yeah.
I'm so psyched that you guys are jumping into the Schmoedown. Me and Alex have had so much fun in the Star Wars League and so excited to see all the new faces popping in. Is there a particular movie in the franchise or a wheel slice? Like I think John said quotes for his that he thinks he would be really good at. What do you think you would really just destroy in? Is there a particular movie that you think okay, I got this?
Yeah, you know, I have talked a little bit about my history before. If anybody doesn't know, I've always been a lifelong Star Wars fan, but very loosely. It wasn't until Disney bought it and kind of reset the canon. And they were saying, hey, those billions of hours of books that you're probably never going to read, like, take a breath. We're kind of starting over. That stuff still exists. It's fine if you want to get into it, but just know that it won't be important anymore. To the degree of like, you're not going to not understand what's going on. Like that was big for me. And so I think like right around that Disney acquisition is when I was like, dude, I could do Star Wars. Like now is the time to get into it and not ever feel like I'm behind or I just have like 50 books that I could never read, you know? And so to me, right there, right at the beginning was like, it was probably like Force Awakens and Rogue One probably are the two movies that I felt like I was the most into, like, got to get the visual dictionary, read everything about it, you know? And then Rogue One, probably, I think the longer it goes, man, I start to think like that really is like one of my favorite Star Wars movies. I think there's just something inherently that clicks where it's like, I love all Star Wars. Obviously I devote a lot and think about it a lot, but I think there's something that just naturally feels so right to me that I think it sticks in my brain a little bit more. Rogue One specifically. Yeah.
Nice. I also love Rogue One to death. It's just, there's something about it that has that perfect like wow factor, and the way that it leads directly into A New Hope, it just it knocked my socks off when I saw it, and I just love it even more every time I watch it. So
it made you care about people that you knew were gonna die.
Exactly. It was like you know.
Yeah, you knew right away these people aren't alive, and we cared about them every second.
yeah. Most, if not all of them, are not gonna make it. But
and it was also oddly like bigger than that too, because it had all these things against it. Like, you know, are we gonna care about a movie that doesn't have Luke or Han in it? You know, like, are we gonna care about a movie that isn't? I mean, I know Vader was in it, but it wasn't like a Star Wars movie, you know? And everybody was like, oh, I'm not sure about this. And I think it proved that Star Wars can exist outside of the Skywalker saga. And in an odd way, like, I think that movie did so well that it was potentially led to like why people started to become disappointed in the sequels. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, Star Wars is back, Force Awakens, cool. But obviously that's, you know, what it is. And then they see Rogue One and they go, oh, but we don't have to have this. Okay. All right. Well, let's see where the sequel trilogy goes from here on. And then it's like, you know, some people like start to have issues with it. And it's like, what? Forget that. That's not important anymore. And now we're even more so like built into the world where, yeah, let's just do Rogue Ones and Solos and Mandalorians and stuff like that. I think, I don't know. It's a personal opinion, and I know other people will go against me, but I almost feel like the sheen of the big, massive Star Wars movie might be over as they move into TV and stuff. And I think just more regular, like Marvel style movies, like Marvel can still do an Avengers movie, but they have regular movies that come out that are just like, here's another one. And personally, I want to see that in Star Wars. I want to see a lot of content.
Yeah, I feel like for a lot of people, Rogue One especially, that is a heist movie. You could be just not a Star Wars fan at all and probably still enjoy Rogue One just as a standalone movie. Absolutely. So that makes a lot of sense.
It's a war movie set in Star Wars, which like that it's very unique because I feel like you kind of just follow your usual. All right, here's a story of a Skywalker, and then you have this where it's like, there's a war going on right now, and this is what's happening, and you're like, oh crap, this is kind of cool. The other stuff is going on while the Skywalkers are off doing their stuff.
Yeah,
doing whatever.
Yeah. Every Star Wars movie since the original has been almost like you have to know what happened in all the other movies. It's important that you kind of connect everything, even the prequels, you know, like you'd think that would be like a reset, but it kind of wasn't. It's like, because you're not going to enjoy that film as much as you would if you didn't know who Anakin was, you know, if you don't come into that and be like, that's Obi-Wan, that's Anakin, that's Yoda. I'm interested for those reasons. So Rogue One, again, it hasn't been since the original that I think a movie has kind of just been like, we're going to wipe the slate clean. None of that stuff is important. You just need to know maybe what the Death Star is and how terrible that is. Or maybe you don't even need to know that because we show you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great point.
And it's funny because, like you said, I immediately think of my sister when I was trying to explain to her Rogue One, and I just literally said, the movie's about the little plan she puts in R2-D2, and she goes, oh, okay. Like, that's literally like all you need to know going into that. She's like, oh, okay, sweet.
Yeah, read these like 2 lines from the crawl, and then you're good. Like that's the movie.
Yep.
So yeah.
Do you think, real quick, do you think we will get a similar movie but about the Bothans?
I mean,
do you think do you want?
I feel like I saw something specifically with you guys talking about how suspiciously quiet they've been about the Bothans. But I agree with that. But I kind of feel there's no way they would do it because it would feel like Rogue 2. Like it would it would just be the same movie again or something similar. I wouldn't be surprised though if another movie carried over or potentially like crossed over in the same kind of area, maybe, or something. We see that on screen or in a TV show or something. Because I think that you're right. Like when people talked about Rogue One, they were like, why didn't that have any Bothans in it? For some reason, that line sticks out so much. And I think people want to see that scenario happen. They want to see how many died.
We just want to see a Bothan, period. I mean, I do. But that's fine. They can keep their secrets for now. Have a big Bothan reveal at some point. Yeah.
You're like, hey, Star Wars, Bothans. They're like, what did you say? Oh, here's High Republic.
Yeah. And then it's just like a keychain. I'm like, oh, what's over
here? Yeah, exactly.
It's like Alex with the Rogue Squadron movie. He's like, okay.
Anything pilots. He's like, what?
Sure. Yeah. All right. So I love the Star Wars Spock. Let's get back to a little bit of Schmoedown here. Though.
Yeah. What are we here to talk about?
Yeah. Well, I could talk Star Wars all day, but let's get back into the nitty gritty of this. Brian, you're up next here. Do you have a question that you would like to ask James?
Yeah. So, we know obviously each faction has a manager. You don't have to answer specifically who you think you would work well with manager wise, but is there something that you would like or looking for in a manager to kind of like help guide you or anything like that if you were to get selected on a faction?
I mean, that's a thing that just comes down to life. Like, what do you expect from a teacher? Like, I guess I don't know specifics, like what I'm looking for, but I know that when you're with somebody and they're helping you and you can see the progress that you're making, that is when you know that something's clicking. Like, even if this person doesn't necessarily know the same information, but they know what's going to work to help, make it stick, or they're going to help come up with things like this is kind of a dumb thing, but like a manager that's going to maybe remind you that you have, a JTE rule or something like that you're like, oh yeah, that's right. And it's like
not dumb. That's exactly
not dumb at all.
That's exactly what I needed from a manager, is to remind me like, hey, you have all these other options. Don't freak out. Don't freak out.
Yeah. I think that's what it really comes down to, is like, you don't know, you don't have the ability to kind of know what you're going to need until you're in the match and you potentially like look at the match you just played and see the tape. Like, it's interesting for me because this would be hopefully, our first Schmoedown. I've never done it, never sat in it, never really even talked to anybody about the event, like right when they get off stage. Like, what was that like? To me, it's so different. It's exciting, but it also has this potential to be something intimidating that I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to fail. Like, I don't know, like what is Luke's uncle name? And you're like, like, and it's like, I think like it's going to be figuring out where my failures are just when you're immediately asked the question and stuff like that. And I think a good manager is going to recognize that probably quicker than I would and be like, this is where you're weak. Fix this. And I'm like, okay, man, I would have went and studied, I don't know, stuff on Canto Bite, like alien names or something. And it's like, you don't need that. You need quotes or something. Yeah.
I like it.
I mean, that's fair, because that's the first time that I've heard a rookie answer that kind of question like that. So it's not so much about, what you need, but it's more so what the manager can give you.
Yeah.
Look at that. So
I'll tell you this, I'm bad, like in the moment, even when I'm watching the show, I'm bad at in the moment of realizing how close maybe somebody is to elimination. Like sometimes randomly it's like, oh, the person got the question wrong. They're like, and you're winner. And I'm like, wait a second. Did he just get TKO'd? Like, like, oh shoot. So I think like having a better understanding of where you're at, and when you're 10 points down in the first round, that's not good, but it doesn't it doesn't mean as much until you get into like the later rounds and the points are worth more and stuff like that. And I think there's kind of some level of trying to figure out how that math works that could really benefit confidence. You know, you're like, oh shoot, I'm missing all these. It's like, but these ones don't matter as much. Don't freak out.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Okay, so they're calling for this question in the chat, and I will ask it. And so this is a scenario question posted by Kylie here, and she had asked, I'll do the hard Jill question. So if you shave/wax your full head, beard, eyebrows, and even your eyelashes, you get a title shot against Alex Damon. Do you take it and make the sacrifice?
So I have to do all those things, and then I get the title shot?
Yeah.
How about this? How about no, I save all my hair and then I just beat everybody and get to Alex and take it anyway.
There you go.
I like it. I like it. Kylie, Kylie, it's great.
You gotta work your way there. I like it.
Earn it a little more.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be standing there with a belt and the bald head and everybody's like, you didn't earn that.
They're like, oh.
All right, I'll shift and I'll ask one of Jill's scenario questions since she's not here. So let's say you're playing someone. It could be just someone who's played before or an incoming rookie, and you end for the first round with a lead. Either it's 1 point, 3 points, whatever it may be. So you get a chance at spinning the wheel first. Do you defer or do you spin the wheel first?
I think I spin the wheel first. Although I feel like there's a technique to letting people go second. Like I think like what I've seen is it seems like better players generally let the other person go first. But in my own head, I haven't figured out why. And again, going back to the manager thing, like maybe that's something that they can kind of explain, like here's why or here's the strategy. Maybe this benefits you. For me personally, just going in just the way I am, I would rather not know what I'm up against and just feel like this is just me. No pressure. They're just asking me questions, and where I come out with, I'd rather see my opponent try to overcome what I just did rather than me feeling like I've got, 100 steps to beat him kind of thing.
That's totally fair. I mean, I've heard people explain their reasoning behind spinning first or second. And honestly, like in Star Wars, I think it really comes down to who you're playing and like whether or not you're trying to play some mind games with that person. But ultimately with Star Wars, like we've been saying, it just comes down to can you answer everything right? Who has the brain fart first?
Yeah.
100%.
Well, and just so you know, Lacey decided to defer, and John decided to go first and bury his opponent.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, you broke the tie. You broke the tie.
Nice. All right. I'll take that.
All right, Brian, you got something else you want to ask?
Yeah. So, Jesus, this freaking cord. God, AirPods. I know. I literally just stepped on it and yanked my head.
I need Salacious B or R2 to get me out of this.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Tiny saw.
So it doesn't have to be a Star Wars player, but is there a certain player that you think like, oh, I'd really like to kind of like learn how they play, their approach, or just any like knowledge or tips from them, like if they were on your team? Does not have to be Star Wars.
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I've been friends with Roka for a while, and I always think that, as cool of a dude as he is, like, I think he would be someone that could really like kind of show the ropes a little bit, and say like, hey, here's how it goes. Here's how you want to do. Like, I think he would be kind of a personal good coach, because I know that he excels, number one, in the matches, but he excels at the personality as well, and he obviously knows all the people that are involved in the creation and has been with it for so long that I think he gets it on all accounts. He doesn't just stick to one thing and just do that really well. He's kind of good at everything. For Star Wars, though, just because I heard this question to Gold Leader too, and I was thinking, oh, I don't know. Off the top of my head, the first thing I thought was Scrimshaw, because I think there's something interesting about his approach, which is this is all a joke, right? He's like, he can answer the questions so well, but he's so oddly different from everybody else that he will answer with humility, and he will answer with humor, and he will get in someone's face and just play it off, like it's really silly and stupid. And I don't know, it's just so different from everybody else that I would be interested to see like what his approach is to feeling just relaxed about the whole thing. How does he get out of the pressure of it all, and just manage to be there and be like, as my high school teacher once told me, and then like holds up the answer and stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, like, how do you have enough time to come up with the answer and the witty response?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Have a joke prepared along with your 15 seconds you get to pull this information.
Scrimshaw is a literal Jedi, and he's first of all, he's a treasure.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if he were to beat you, even if he were to KO someone in Star Wars, I feel like afterwards he'd be like, that was really fun.
Yeah.
Like, you did really well. And
He
you'd be
seems
like
a bring it in kind of guy.
yeah, bring it in. We're all good. This was fun. Yeah, let's go, get a drink somewhere, assuming the pandemic is over.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
All right, before we get to our final question, Molly, do you have anything else you would like to ask James?
I mean, we didn't we have Lacey and John both do promos?
We did.
I kind of feel like okay. All right.
They did it against each other. And
Mhm.
so, Lacey picked John when we simply asked Lacey, Jill tortured Lacey by saying, "Hey, if there's a Star Wars competitor and she had said you're playing John in your first match, you need to cut a promo." And then John followed it up. So if you want to do one against one of them,
Yeah.
you're welcome to.
Or a promo to just set yourself apart from them.
Yeah.
To set myself apart from them. Gosh, I don't know.
It's so hard.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I mean, look, we're here to win, right? This is not us just doing a regular show. We're not just here to talk about Star Wars or to just give our opinions on Star Wars. It's about knowing Star Wars. And I mean, between the three of us, I mean, really, honestly, I think they know in their heart to hearts, like, I have the information. John can talk about the behind the scenes stuff. Lacey can talk about all aspects of fandom and social media and stuff like that and how it all connects and stuff and just her love of Star Wars. But I'm the one that gets the lore. I'm the one that understands the characters. I'm the one that knows everything about all the details and stuff. And given the opportunity to go up against John or Lacey, I think they know right away that they're probably going to lose that one.
Yay.
I like it.
Love it.
I like how people are literally in the chat going, "Get the Darksaber and cut them down!" Like, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah. No. Also, John and Lacey, I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. All right. Well, we'll go and finish off with our typical POV question. I'm sure you heard it in the background, but we're all movie people here. It brings us together. And so when movie theaters are open and we're going to see films, do you have a favorite movie snack and a favorite candy that you like to choose?
I it's funny. I think this was about the point where I was like, where the heck are my AirPods? So I was like, why are they talking about popcorn? Now I imagine everybody picks popcorn, right? Pretty much.
A lot.
Yeah.
Not everyone, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, that is when I go, I get a large popcorn and I'll either get a large Coke. Sometimes I kind of don't do it as much anymore. I tend to lean towards the icy and I do the Coke and the blue raspberry mix. That combination. It's kind of funny because I think it's one of those things like I was doing that. And then when I met my wife, like she also did the same thing. So we were just like, all right, so that's a definite every time now. Candy's actually not really like a common thing that I do when I go into the theater, but I definitely like something that takes a little time. Like I feel like a Sour Patch Kids or something's like chew it up and you're done. I think I would probably enjoy like a Gobstopper better. Something like that. Because I think that's something that you can kind of sit with for a little bit and kind of enjoy because it's not really supposed to be the focus of like when I'm eating Reese's, like you want to enjoy a Reese's, you know? And I'm in a movie right now. I want to enjoy the movie. So I'm going to put something in that's just going to be just constant coverage of great taste.
Nice. Wow. You just want a blanket of flavor during the entire movie.
Yes. I just want to feel numb to sugar.
That's fair. That is very fair.
Oh, goodness.
Well, James, it has been an absolute pleasure getting you on the show finally and being able to give you a shot in front of everybody.
Awesome.
Just a few days away until the draft, and we hope that this gave you just the slightest inch ahead of some of the other Star Wars competitors to get you in the league this year. So fun talking with you and getting to know you a little bit better, and we wish the best of luck to you on Friday.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And good luck to me, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
We look forward to it. So we're looking forward to seeing what happens on Friday. So
all right, man. Yeah.
Good luck.
Have a good night, James.
See you.
Oh, too many good rookies. Just too many good rookies.
There's a list of 30.
Yeah.
And only probably 16. And I don't know how people are going to choose. But I mean, there is that chance, though, that someone could get dropped, someone could get picked up, shift here and there. You never know. So,
well, that and the with 12 players on a faction now, there's the possibility of 3 Star Wars players a team. There really is.
I mean, it's funny because the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, Kylo, stop, or is that Hilo?
Oh, that's Hilo.
But I mean, like, you have 12 people. Star Wars is getting to that point where it's gonna be a little wild. So maybe 3 people. The more I sit and think about it, I'm kind of like,
and
maybe 3. Yeah,
it's confirmed. There's a Star Wars match a week, 1 per week.
I know. So now I'm starting to think maybe. I mean, you have 12. You can easily go 3 from each division. So
it's gonna be crazy.
I'm kind of starting to not. I mean, this is me just saying this because I like everyone so far. I'm like, I'm not opposed to 3 people from Star Wars on a team. So I just think it's going to be interesting because I feel like Star Wars is going to be wild this year and might even be the most popular of the 4 leagues this year.
I'll say it now. Star Wars is going to reign 2021.
Yeah,
it's going to reign 2021 for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm so excited.
It's being touted as the heavyweight going into the year for sure.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
I really think it surprised Christian how well the whole live on Twitch tournament thing went. I mean, I wasn't surprised, but I think that did so much for the division. Yeah, it's only going to get better from here on out. And you know, I've always thought, not to knock my own knowledge or Alex's knowledge, but I've always thought it's only a matter of time before we come across someone else who has that same brain that Alex has, who just like has all that knowledge just in there rattling around, don't really need to even study. And we might see some of those people here coming up getting drafted, which is scary, but fun. Yay.
I would hate to be Alex, just sitting on the outside watching all this crazy fun stuff going on.
I know. He was like, I only got to play once this year or last year. He's like, I want to play more. And I was like, well, you got to lose the belt. And then...
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up tonight's POV Rookie Spotlight. It's actually going to wrap up our entire series of interviews we've had with all the rookies.
We're done interviewing rookies.
We are officially done interviewing rookies heading into Friday's draft. We are not done here POV on the week, obviously. If you are interested, we are doing our Patreon watch along is happening tomorrow night. and we are watching the classic Superbad, which is a Netflix film up on there. So we'll be watching that tomorrow night. If you're interested in joining our Patreon for $2 a month, guys, you can join in on watch-alongs. The link is in the description. We'll be back on Sunday to cover everything at the draft, not just for Friday's live event, but also Saturday's finalizing of the last couple picks. We'll be breaking it all down. We'll be going through rounds and factions and stuff like that, talking about the rookies that were drafted, talk about where the new players are on new factions, stuff like that, and maybe even have some special guests, but we'll figure it out. But for now, if you guys love any of those rookies, anybody we've talked to, shoot the managers their information. Just tweet at them, put them in Facebook. Be like, look, you guys should be drafting this person, this person, this person. Now's
the time. Now is the time. If you want to see someone, today, tomorrow,
less than 2 days. Less than 2 days to absolutely hammer managers on social media. And get those guys names out there to everyone and give them a shot at being drafted, because we love to see it happen. So for us here on POV, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, on all of these weekly editions of the rookie stuff. And we look forward to Sunday's show with the absolute chaos that will be the movie trivia Schmoedown draft.
So excited.
It's going to be crazy. We're going to be doing we're actually
know who Molly's team is.
Yeah.
I will have teams again. Yay.
We're going to be watching it as a group privately and recording some reactions. And so you'll see those clipped out over the next couple weeks. But until then, we'll be back here on Sunday, 6 o'clock Pacific, right here on this channel for our main show. Possibly special guests, but breaking down everything movie trivia Schmoedown draft. So for Brian,
don't forget in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Happy hour. Jesus Christ.
No, it's a week from Saturday.
Yeah, 2 weeks, meaning this Saturday, this next Saturday.
I thought you were talking about my match, and I was like, what?
No. Yeah, so next episode of Happy Hours on February 6th. Mark that down on your calendars, 5 p.m. Pacific right here. And then, Molly's first match debuting the season is on February 19th. So a lot coming from POV, and we look forward to having everyone involved. We thank you guys so much for all the support, all the love, all the chatter in the chat as well. And for all of us here, we look forward to seeing you guys the rest of the week, and we'll see you then.
Bye.